All right, let's welcome here on set Max Baucus. He is former U.S. ambassador to China. He's also former senator from Montana. Also, Judd Gregg joins us. He is former governor and senator from New Hampshire. And gentlemen, welcome to both of you. Let's talk a little bit about what these latest developments mean. Max, we'll start with you since you're here on set with us. What does this mean in terms of tensions ratcheting up and what the likely outcomes are from here?
Well, we all know the Mideast is fraught with difficulties, all the tensions among the countries, religious animosity, sectarian, and it's tribal, and it's a very, very difficult part of the world to control in any way. I frankly think that Iran needs to push back. It's important to do so. On the other hand, I think it would be wise for President Trump to consult at least the leadership in Congress before taking such a dramatic action. Generally, politics stops at the water's edge. At least that was the case when Judd Gregg and I were there. And I think that's an important principle to follow. But it does very much depend upon the president to consult in some degree so that the politics does stop at the water's edge when it comes to foreign policy.
Judd, that meeting with the Gang of Eight is expected today. How do you think that's going to go?
Is that question to me, Becky?
That's right, Judd.
Well, hopefully it'll go well. Soleimani was a terrorist, is a terrorist, was targeting the United States, did kill Americans. Taking him out was the right thing to do. But I agree with Max, as I often do, on these types of issues, that the president should have consulted with the 8 leadership members that are required under the rules that we have relative to the Congress and the president prior to that event. And also with our European allies, you know, our ability to function in the Middle East is curtailed or circumscribed significantly if we go in there unilaterally. We really need support from our traditional allies, and unfortunately, in many instances, this president has walked away from those alliances, or at least treated them indifferently, and that's a mistake, because when you get into issues like this, you really need those folks to help you out. You need the European nations, and you need our allies in the Middle East.
Judd, what do you think happens next? Obviously, we can't determine where or when the response is going to come, but we have heard the president draw some fairly stark red lines at this point if there are American casualties from any response.
We don't know. Nobody knows. The number of targets is almost limitless relative to Iran's options, but they are also circumscribed by the fact that they are under serious economic stress. And if they do something which aggravates that economic stress by attacking Americans somewhere and then having a retaliation which causes them even further economic distress, that's going to be difficult for their government to maintain stability. So I don't think we know what they're going to do. I certainly don't know what they're going to do. They have to respond in some way because there's the outrage that is fairly apparent throughout the country. But where they're going to respond, I have no idea. I suspect that, however, that it will not be the type of response that causes other nations to come to our side, because they need those other nations in order to limit the economic impact that they're getting from our sanctions.